You like my messy shop behind me? It's your fault. It's your fault. You guys keep ordering stuff, not to keep putting it together. That's okay. You're killing me, but this is the way I want to die with you guys ordering a lot of stuff. So just keep on going to bugfarmerbees.com. I've got what you want. I've got what you need for the most part, and my prices are very competitive with everybody else. So basically, if you need something, check me first. You might find that I have it cheaper. May not be a lot cheaper, but it's probably cheaper than you're going to get at some of the other places because I'm a one-man operation. My overhead's a lot lower than what theirs is, and I'm not pushing high margins here. So stop in bugfarmerbees.com, have a look. There's a QR code on the screen somewhere right now, but you can get feeding buckets, you can get beehives, boxes, frames, hive tools, foundation. I've got it all. Bottles, you need to bottle your honey. I can help you bottle, or I can set you up with a bottler so you can bottle your honey. Now, I'm also going to do a little bit of griping in this video because I've got 3 things that I want to gripe about. So I'm going to do some griping to you. If you want to stick around and hear it, you can. You don't have to listen. It's not even about beekeeping. At least most of it isn't, but it's griping nonetheless. I've got some things that are frustrating me. Let you have a look. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. I mean, this dearth, I tell you, it's deep and wide. And I don't know whether it's this bad where you are, but I tell you what, there's nothing. I mean, nothing in the environment. Hey bug farmers, welcome to Bug Farmer Beekeeping, where we dive into the world of apiculture, beekeeping, and bees every week. This is the place to share laughs, explore bees, and learn together, all without taking ourselves too seriously. To join our buzzing community, it's easy and it's free. Just hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's cultivate beekeeping knowledge and fun together. Now, let's get into the bees. Hi, and welcome back to the channel today. Well, today it's another feeding day. Now, I've still got buckets on the hives up there in the apiary. I put those there last week with the 2-to-1 sugar syrup, so everybody's had 2 gallons of syrup. And I'm going to be removing those buckets today and taking them over to the Honey Creek yard and the farm yard and feed those girls. That's the goal. It's not going to be a very interesting video today. It's just going to be feeding bees. I thought you might like to take a look at what's going on here. I gave these girls sugar syrup this morning, 4 gallons of it, and they're on it. Let me tell you, they are on it. Look at that. It looks like that bucket there is the only one that's got any sugar syrup left because that's where all the bees are conjugating. I even saw a hornet on there a few minutes ago. But I will continue to give them more. I do have a drum filled with syrup up here, so I can continue to feed these girls and give them everything they need. But I think everybody here is now in good shape, and nobody is on the verge of starvation anymore. It seems we've also got the ant problem under control, so that is a good thing. And I want to thank everybody in the comments of last week's video. A lot of great ideas. And you know, the go-to for a lot of people seems to be cinnamon. Cinnamon is what everybody seems to use. I just think cinnamon is so expensive to be putting on hives, but I may have to give it a shot. So there you go, there you have it. Anyways, let me go get my jacket on. We'll come out here, we'll remove these feeder buckets, and then we'll load them into the truck and head over to the farm. All right, before I peel these buckets off, let's have a look at the colonies. They look okay. I don't see any ant activity at all. Everybody seems happy and doing what they're supposed to do. I don't see ants crawling up the legs. I don't see ants on the landing board. I don't see ants around the sugar syrup buckets, which is good. Now this is the hive that had the serious ant problem right here. This is the one that got absconded last week. This is where the problem started. Let's take a close look here. Well, it's hard to take a close look without my shadow getting in the way there. Let's just kind of beam the camera down there and have a look around. Do you see any ants anywhere? I don't see any ants. Let's look closely at the landing board. Yeah, I don't see any ants causing problems there. Much better. Much better. All right. These girls look fine. These girls look okay. Don't see any ants there. Now, we do have a lot of activity happening back here, and that would generally worry me, but it just looks like it's bearding. I don't see anybody trying to fight off ants. That just looks like standard, it's way too hot in here behavior. Same thing with the girls next door. And then, of course, this hive here, that was another location where the ants took over last week, and it doesn't look like there's anything happening there now. That's a good sign. And right here, I don't see any ants. So everybody's in great shape. I'm going to go ahead and remove, well, I don't see any activity there. Okay, that worries me a little bit. You'd think there'd be some activity there. Oh, wait a second. I just saw a bee come out. Let's have a close look here. Okay. Oh, I see an ant. Well, I see one ant, not a lot of ants. Okay, we'll have a gander at that one. And for some reason, these girls don't have a bucket of sugar syrup. For some reason, I didn't feed them, so I better put a bucket on there just to make sure that they get some food. All right, those look good back in the back. These look good now. This hive, remember this hive? Now, a couple of weeks ago, we were doing the OA treatment. Remember, I saw what I thought was a swarm, but it didn't look like a swarm. Oh, what do we have happening here? Do we have another swarm? Oh, that swarm may be breaking cluster up there. So, let me just tell you, I had a swarm while I was mowing yesterday, and they went up there into the tree, and I thought for a second it was those girls right there breaking cluster, but it doesn't look like it. What is going on here? Looks like this hive has got something going on. Look at that. Maybe these are the girls that are swarming. We do have a little swarm sound action happening here, but they're not pouring out like you would expect from a swarm. But what the heck is going on here? I have no idea. And then we found the queen outside of the hive on the leg. That, I got to thinking about it, that was an abscond. They were absconding because of the ants that eventually wiped out their hive. So that's what they were doing. These girls look fine. And there's one more set of bees that we need to check on that we haven't looked at in a while. Now, I already looked at them and I know the answer. But the girls that were living up in the tree, yeah, they left. But what they left, oh, wait a second. What's going on up there? They had comb. I don't think that's bees on the edge of it. I'm not sure what's, I think that's just a pine cone. But yeah, they bailed. They were living up there, but chances are that was another abscond due to the ants. Let's get the sugar buckets off of these hives, put a bucket of syrup on this little green hive that's hiding back here in the shade. We're going to give these girls a bucket because for some reason I did not give them one last week, and it looks like that hive's pretty weak or dead because I don't see any activity on the front. All right. Let's see here. This one goes right there. There we go. Take this one, we're going to set it right there. Now, while I go and get the other two, you're going to notice bees are going to start gathering right on the lip already. There they go. Excellent. There you go. You're locked in. And you're locked in. All right, so it's about 1,000 degrees. I'm soaking wet, but I've got to make some more sugar syrup. Now, I've got 20 buckets made up. It's right here in front of the camera. You can't see it, but there's some buckets right there. This is all set up for the farm, and while I'm over at the farm, I want to have another batch churning. So what I need to do first is add a little bit of hot water. I'm just going to go grab it from the hot water heater, and then run this back over here, and we'll start dumping some sugar in there. All right, so while that fills, I'm going to give you the lay of the land. So the sugar syrup that I'm making is 35 gallons. Now, this is in a 55-gallon drum, but it's 35 gallons of hot water, and I'm going to be using 200 pounds of sugar, which is going to give me a very thick sugar syrup. But that's the same thing I did with these buckets and the buckets that were out there. I want to make sure that the bees have the kind of food, the kind of syrup that they can store, and that way they won't starve out anymore. I mean, this dearth, I tell you, it's deep and wide. And I don't know whether it's this bad where you are, but I tell you what, there's nothing. I mean, nothing in the environment. I've got some vincas in front of my hives over there, and that's blooming, and those will bloom. They don't seem to offer much, but the bees, for some reason, they don't really go to them. I've got butterflies on them all the time, and I've actually got some video of the butterflies on there, and I think there might be a bee or two, but for the most part, the bees in the yard just fly right on by. That said, I just want to make sure everybody's in good shape, and I think we can get there. It's not going to be too difficult. Now, I'm also going to do a little bit of griping in this video because I've got 3 things that I want to gripe about. So I'm going to do some griping to you. If you want to stick around and hear it, you can. You don't have to listen. It's not even about beekeeping. At least most of it isn't, but it's still, it's griping nonetheless. I've got some things that are frustrating me. Yeah, right. Here we go. Let that churn while I load up the buckets, and we go to the farm and feed those girls. Holy moly! It is so hot. All right, so I hope that you're going to be able to hear me over the air conditioner, but I have to have it on, and I'll tell you why as we drive. It's going to be gripe number 1. We're going to talk about my air conditioning system. So last night, I don't know, about 6 o'clock in the evening, maybe closer to 7, my wife and I noticed the temperature in the house started going up. So of course you do all the things that you do. You go, you check the filter, you make sure that everything's on, make sure the doors are shut, you know, the things. So I did all of that, and the thermostat said cooling, little snowflakes are flying on the screen. We have a Linux system. It came with a little screen, a little screen that you can control for your phone or look in the hallway. It's a little LED screen, an LCD screen. Anyways, it's not the point. The point is the air conditioner gave out, quit working. And I did all the standard stuff, so I decided to call the folks who put the thing in for me. So 10 years ago, I bought this brand new gas furnace with an air conditioner, top of the line, biggest one they had, spent $10,000 or a little more on it because I wanted to make sure that I got something of value that I could get maximum utility out of. I don't always buy the cheapest things. Sometimes I spend a little bit more to get something nicer that's going to last a little bit longer. For instance, my TV set. I had my last TV set for over 20 years. And it was a flat screen. It was 1080p, but it was a flat screen, and it was 55-inch. It was a beauty. It was a Sony Bravia, and it was expensive when I bought it. But again, it lasted 20-some years, and it wasn't even dead when I got rid of it. I just wanted to go to a 4K. So I bought another Sony Bravia, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is my air conditioner broke. I called the fellas that put it in, and if you're, I don't know whether they're nationwide. They're here in Georgia. It's called Shoemate Heating and Air, and they were a fantastic company when I called them to have it put it in. I've even called them in the past for service, and they came out and fixed whatever I needed fixed or looked at whatever I needed looked at. Pretty much they had a customer for life. I'd bought a $10,000 or $11,000 furnace off of them. I've given them my business, and their advertising on the local stations here and on the radio is the Sandy Shoemate lady gets on there. My daddy founded this place, and he used to tell me stories of when a family was uncomfortable in their house in the middle of the night. He would go out and help them and make sure that they were in good shape because that was the right thing to do. So I call them yesterday. It was a Saturday night. It's Sunday now. And the lady answers the phone, and she gets my information. She says, well, you don't have a service contract with us. No, I don't have a service contract. I'm not going to pay a service contract to have somebody come out and change air filters and do the things that I can do. You know, I'm not going to pay money for the sake of paying it. So no, I don't have a service contract. Well, if you don't have a service contract, you can't get emergency service. I'm assuming that means weekend service. We can have somebody contact you on Monday. Well, I don't want my family sweating all weekend long if I don't have to. But it got me to thinking that I don't like that policy. So I can understand if you have a service contract, yeah, they can come out for you on the weekend and say if you have a service contract, it's the standard daily rate. But if you don't have a service contract, they should still be able to come out and service your equipment, just charge you a Saturday rate or a Sunday rate, an emergency rate, emergency fee. I can deal with that. But they told me they weren't even coming because I didn't have a contract, which I thought was just absurd. You don't get emergency service unless you have a contract. And that's like telling me that I don't get to have my equipment serviced by them unless I pay them per annum, annually, for doing nothing. And that way when I call them, because I've paid them all the money for doing nothing, they'll allow me to pay them money to do something. That doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense to me if I have a service contract that I get the discounted rate on Saturdays and Sundays, I get the daily rate. That would be fine. That might even be worth having a service contract. But to not get any service at all unless you have a service contract, that sounds like extortion to me, because they know you're desperate. When you, in the wintertime when you're cold or in the summer when you're hot, they know you're desperate. And I didn't expect Shoemate Heating and Air to try to put me over a barrel like that, especially after the advertising they had, that they take care of you. They don't want your family to be cold or hot. You know, that sounds almost criminal to me. So the long and the short of it is that prior to yesterday, Shoemate Heating and Air had a customer for life. I mean, I was a customer for life. I'd bought a giant expensive furnace off of them. I've called them several times in the past that just haven't come out and do stuff. And then now, when I need them, they're telling me, well, I'm sorry, you don't pay us for doing nothing, so we're not going to allow you to pay us for doing something. Oh, man. Have you ever run into something like that? I mean, have all companies gone to this? This is just, I mean, that's almost obscene. It's like, you got to pay to play, but you got to just pay just to be in the game now. Well, I'm not paying just to be in the game. I'm not doing that stuff. So I did what any normal red-blooded American would do. I started calling around last night, and I didn't find anybody. And even if I can't find anybody until Monday, I'm not going to use Shoemate because of what they just did to me. Why should I do that? So I exhausted all grok possibilities. I went up and I looked at the machine and I got the error code that it was flashing. I put it in grok and it told me what it was and what to check, and I did all of those things. And I went outside and I checked some stuff on the compressor and I checked some stuff on the thermostat, and it's apparently it looks like it's just going to need some more freon, and that's something that I cannot do. So there you go, and there you have it. That's gripe number one. Let me know if you've ever experienced anything like that. I know you tuned in to see bees, not to hear gripes, but I'm sure we all suffer from this nonsense. This is really a pain in my butt. So there you go, there you have it. Anyways, we're almost at the farm. I will turn on the real cameras when I get there. We're not going to do much. We're just going to feed, but then I've got more gripes to share with you. If you want to hear, I'm just venting. I vent to my wife all the time. She's probably tired of hearing it. So I'm going to make you tired of hearing it now. Okay. So today is not my day with camera gear. I got out here, I gave you a whole hello and all of that, and started putting buckets on the hives, and I looked over and the lens on the camera was closed. And I know that I had it set up. So we're gonna start all over. I'm not gonna carry more buckets, but I'm gonna tell you, we were talking about my second gripe, and that was a tetanus shot that I had to get. And I'll tell you that story as I walk around and get the buckets. You should be able to hear me with the mic. Let's see here. Let's make sure that this is recording my audio. So I've got a mic right here, so no matter where I walk, you should be able to hear me. So I'm just going to tell you the story as I walk around and do this. Anyways, so I stepped on a rusty nail, and I had to get a tetanus shot. And before we talk about me stepping on the rusty nail and having to get the tetanus shot, I want to lay the foundation by making sure that everybody understands that when you get a tetanus shot because you've stepped on a rusty nail, it's not because you stepped on a rusty nail. It's not because of the rust on whatever it was that cut you. Anyways, when you step on a rusty nail, you don't want to get tetanus. You don't get tetanus from stepping on a rusty nail. It's not the rust that gives you the tetanus. That's a misconception. That's an old wives' tale. And it originated from farming, right? Back in the old days, most everybody worked on a farm. And if you stepped on a rusty nail or cut yourself with something rusty, chances are it was exposed to the dirt of the soil around you, and you were on a farm. Farms have manure. And what causes tetanus is a bacteria that is generally found in manure. So we're setting the table. So I had to get a tetanus shot because I stepped on a rusty nail. And unfortunately, I had just finished potting a plant in, black cow manure. And that's where the nail was, and I stepped on it. So I got a nail with rust and manure on it into my heel, and I went to get a tetanus shot. And let me tell you, it was no fun. So the first thing I did, hello, ladies. Hello. The first thing I did was went to the phone book, to the yellow pages, to my phone, and I looked up, just up the doctor's office. And there was a doctor's office around here. It's called Alio. Alio Healthcare. Don't know what it is. I don't like it. I called them up and I said, listen, I need to get a tetanus shot. They said, why? I said, I stepped on a rusty nail and it was in a bag of manure. I need to come by and get a tetanus shot. And this is a doctor's office that I'd used before. And I said, well, can I just come on in and get one really quick? And they gave me the whole runaround. This is almost like the shoemate story, right? The heating and air story. So I go in there, I call them up and I want to go in there and get a shot. And they tell me that unless I get a full physical first, because I hadn't been there to get a physical in a long time, if I don't get a full physical first, they're not going to just give me a shot. So I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I just need a tetanus shot. You're gonna let me die because I don't want to pay for a full physical? And of course, they want to get paid by my insurance company to get the full boat charge there. They don't want to just give me a tetanus shot and save my life. They want me to pay. They want me to pay their money. Well, of course, I don't want to pay their money. All I want is a tetanus shot. So, oh goodness. So I do the next thing. I call an urgent care place around us. You may have them. They're in strip malls. Urgent care. You get cut, we're gonna give you stitches, we're gonna sew you up. We're urgent care. You don't have to go to the hospital and do the emergency room. And it's a little bit more than what a doctor should do for you. If you just go to a standard doctor, you get tetanus shots. I said, yeah, we do tetanus shots. Come on in. I'm like, okay. So I set up an appointment, and my appointment was at 4:30. And I thought, okay, I can make it there by 4:30. I have to pick my son up from school, get there. But I said, you know what? I better change my appointment to 5, just in case I can't get there in time. So I called them, I changed my appointment to 5, and they said, okay, no problem. So I go and I pick my son up from school. And after I pick him up from school, we drive straight to the urgent care place. And there was no one in the waiting room. Save 2. There were 2 people in the waiting room. Then we walked in, completely dead in there. So I sit and I wait. And I let them know, I said, listen, my appointment was at 4:30. If you can just squeeze me in earlier than 5 o'clock, that's fine. If not, I'll wait till 5. Okay. I filled out all the paperwork online. There's nothing for them to do except administer a shot. So I sit and I sit and I sit. Well, it's now 5 o'clock, so they couldn't get me in any sooner. The other 2 people in the office are still sitting there in the waiting room. There's a girl up behind the desk. She doesn't look like she's doing much of anything. So we wait and we wait. It's 5:15. 5:30. And we wait. Then they finally call one of the people who were already in the waiting room before I got there. I guess their appointment was like 2 in the afternoon. So they get called up. And I'm like, okay, great. So we're making some progress here. 5:45, 6 o'clock. Now remember, my appointment was originally at 4:30, was changed to 5. Now it's 6, and there's nobody in the waiting room. So I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? So I go up to the desk. I said, you know, is there any way I mean, if you want, you can just bring the shot out here and you can give it to me in my arm right here in the waiting room. It's not that big of a deal. I don't need to go back to the back and all of that to get the shot. Oh, no. They laugh and they giggle and they carry on. No, we have to do it this way. Okay, that's fine. So finally, 15 after 6, they call me back there. So 15 after 6, I finally get back there and they put me into a little room. They said, the doctor will be right in. So I wait, and I wait, and I wait. About 6:30, the doctor walks in. It's this lady doctor, I don't know what her name was, but she walks in, and she tells me, well, let me see the wound. So, well, the wound was a couple of days ago. I stepped on the nail. I forgot to give you that piece of the information. I stepped on the nail on like a Friday, and this is all taking place on a Monday. So I went the weekend, and you're really not supposed to go that long when you have a risk of tetanus. You want to get it handled as early as possible. But I had things to do. I like to play tough guy in front of the wife, you understand. Anyways, so I said, I don't have a wound really. I got this puncture hole in my foot, but I mean, I pulled the nail out a couple of days ago and it's fine. You know, I washed it and I put Neosporin on it and all that good stuff. So we're in good shape. I don't need any wound dressing. Oh, well, all you need is a nurse. I'm like, well, that's fine. A nurse, the semi nurse practitioner, somebody who just give me a shot. No problem. Okay, we're going to send a nurse in here. Okay, doctor leaves. 10 more minutes go by. Knock on the door. Come on in. There's the nurse. She comes in and she administers the shot that I had been there for now 2.5 hours to get. And it took her a minute. Well, I'm going to say less than a minute. She was in the room for about a minute and a half. And that was it. The shot was done. I was ready to go on my way. And I'm sure that they charged me probably $200 for a minute and a half's worth of work and a whole lot of time of them, running around giggling and carrying on and looking at TikTok. It was quite frustrating. Can you see me? I'm hiding behind a weed. There's a lot of weeds. I cannot believe how tall this grass has gotten. Holy moly. Good news is there are no ants here. There's big old ant mounds on the ground, but they don't invade the hives. These are fire ants, and for some reason, they don't go in the hives. They're a little bit bigger, and I think the bees can get them. They're much larger, fire ants are, than the sugar ants. The sugar ants, I would say, for every one fire ant, I bet 10 sugar ants could climb on one fire ant. That's how small they are. But boy, did they have the numbers. Woo! Oh, goodness. Anyways, that is my second gripe. That basically, I had to wait forever to get a tetanus shot because people are incompetent. Oh, I don't want to say incompetent. They did administer the shot, and I don't have tetanus, so they are competent. Customer service has just gone to hell. That's all I'm saying is customer service. Customer service doesn't seem to exist anymore. All right, girls, I got something for you. And I know I'm going to get the calls. You're dumping sugar syrup on the ground in front of the hives again. I know. I get it. I hear you. I'm picking up what you're laying down. Everyone is fed. Let's zip back to the house and grab some more buckets for the Honey Creek yard. And we're probably going to have one more gripe. I'm almost positive of it. All right, so the sugar syrup, it's done. It's done blending, mixing. It's ready to be put into the buckets, and we're going to do that. We're going to head over to the Honey Creek yard and put that on the hives. And I know it's boring watching me feed bees, so I'm going to share something else with you. Once we get to the Honey Creek yard, I'm going to share with you my experience in liminal spaces. Now, if you don't know what a liminal space is, look up on YouTube, look up back rooms, and you'll see some liminal spaces. They're kind of creepy. Well, I was in a creepy liminal space, and I took some video with my cell phone, and I'm going to show it to you. And I'll do that once we get to the Honey Creek yard. But before we do that, and before I fill the buckets and we go, I want to share a pro tip with you. Now, this applies to bucket feeders that have screens on them. As you can tell, the bees have propolised this one completely shut. It's closed. And right now, a closed screen is no good. Now, there's two ways that I've found that works to clean these. One is with hot water. I'll bet a little steamer would work as well. Hot water with some Dawn dish soap, that works well, but that takes a little bit of time. I'm going to share a pro tip with you, a quick way to clean out these screens on your bucket feeders. Alright, so what this is a heat gun, very, very small, effective, efficient little heat gun. And this is the quickest and easiest way to clean out these screens. Watch this. Now there is going to be some smoke, so don't freak out. It's just sugar, wax, and propolis burning. As long as you stay off of the plastic, you're in good shape. Now this is a berry bucket feeder lid. Now I've had this one. So the ones that I sell are Paragon. This is berry. This is one that I bought, and I've had this one for probably, I don't know, 8 years now. I've been using it religiously for 8 years, and every now and then it gets gunched up because I forget to take them off the hive, and the bees, they do what they do, they propolize. This is the key to getting rid of that propolization. This is a very small yet efficient heat gun. Now you can use big heat guns like this, but you don't need to, and if you don't have one, of course you can go to Bug Farmer Bees and get this one. I think I've got it for $25 or something cheap. It's very cheap there, but it does the trick, because it's a good tool to clean up your propolized and or waxed bucket feeding lids. Now there might be a little bit of smoke, but as long as you stay off of the plastic, you're just burning out the propolis and the wax. You're in great shape there. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. That thing's ready to go again. A little bit on the outside. Lovely. That was it. Oh, this has little legs too, so you can just set it down and not have to worry about burning anything. Now you can see me behind it because it's been cleaned out. Well, the back of this is kind of dirty. I got to clean that up. But hey, the screen works again, and it just took a second. So if you need to clean up your bucket feeders and your screens, well, you can use a heat gun, or you can go to bugfarmerbees.com and get this one. It's got a very good price on it, and it works well. Just another maintenance tool, I guess. Layer 6. Let's start with 6. Get those capped and ready to go. All right. Turn this valve. Open this up. And there we go. Fill them to the rim. I need to clean my shop. I mean, I really need to clean my shop. I'm always busy putting orders together. You'll notice when you order stuff, those of you who have bought from bugfarmerbees.com, you'll notice that I fulfill the packages pretty much twice a day. That's going to be late at night or early in the morning. So if you place an order in the evening, it'll probably be fulfilled that night. Or it gets filled the next morning. And then the next day I run it out to be shipped. I try to be Johnny on the spot for the shipping. Try to get it done as quickly as possible and get your product out to you. And for all of you who tried to order these feeding buckets, last week I ran out and I've got more in stock, so you can order the feeding buckets again. I just made a whole new batch. And honestly, I was only out for like 2 days, 3 days. I knew I was running out. I reordered the empty buckets in time. Got them made, so I was like out of stock for 2 days. So I apologize for that. So if you need your feeding buckets and you tried to get them, now you can get them. So what I'll do is I'll finish filling these, get them loaded into the truck, and then I will see you at the Honey Creek yard, and I'll share with you my liminal space experience. It was kind of neat and kind of creepy all at the same time. All right, so I just got to the Honey Creek yard. The grass, believe it or not, was mowed the same day as the farm, but it just doesn't grow as fast. Now I've got some bad news. I just walked around. We have a couple of dead outs. They've obviously been robbed to the max. That's completely filled up with chewed up comb. This one here, that one's just gross. It's completely shut down as well. So that's 2. And those 2 are 2 that we replaced last time I was here. I guess they just ran out of food. Everybody else on the back row, they seem to be doing okay. We have girls there, girls there. This looks like another dead out. I don't see any bees going in or out. I think that may have been another one that we were dealing with. That is a dead out. Goodness, so that's 4 already. 2 there, 2 there, that's 4. We come around here. Those look good. They look good, they look good, they look good, they look good, they look good. The Italians are dead, that's 5. We've lost 5 more hives. This has been a brutal, brutal summer for me. I've lost so many hives. I've lost basically the equivalent of an entire bee yard. Not good, but it happens. So let's get some feed on the ones that are surviving here, and I'll tell you my story of my experience in the liminal space. All right, so I'm going to tell you about my experience with liminal spaces. I'm not going to tell you where I was, but have a look. Have a look around. We're going to have a lot of bees jump out of here. I know it. Let's do it this way, so maybe you can see it on camera. They're already angry. There they are. They're not happy. There you go. You're happy now. Yeah, right. All right, liminal spaces. While I zip around and put the buckets on, I'm gonna let you have a look at a video. This is a video that I took myself when I was wandering around this liminal space. And hey, don't feel bad if it makes you feel creepy, because it kind of made me feel creepy, and I was there. What a liminal space is, it's a area that has been built up. Basically, it exists for a purpose, yet there's nobody there. It's empty. And when you find yourself in a liminal space, you find yourself walking around in one of these, it's a little unnerving, because there should be people there and there aren't. And you're the only one. It's kind of lonely, creepy, and weird all at the same time. Anyways, have a look. All right, so what do you think of liminal spaces? Pretty creepy, right? So I tell you, I'm very, very disappointed in these hives. This is not what I want, needed, or desired, was to have all these dead out hives. I mean, this is the worst. So it looks like these hives are going to have to be repopulated by splits in the spring. All right, while we're here, let's take a quick look inside one of these hives and see what happened. This is just very, very gross. This looks just like, almost like sawdust. I've never seen that before. It's like their pollen was being just taken out. Okay. We have, ooh, nothing unreasonable up top. There's a wax moth attacking the bottom. Oh, and there's the dead bees. There they are. I'm guessing it was, yeah, we've got, oh, so many larvae down there. It looks like hive beetles and wax moths and lack of food. Yeah, we got an issue. I'm just going to put this down in the lake, in the river, let the fish eat it. Let you have a look. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad, but it happens. Happened to me a lot this year. All right, well, I think that brings us to the end of another adventure. I'm not going to take off my veil because I've got angry bees around me everywhere. This has been the worst dearth that I've ever seen. I mean, this is nuts. And I guess I didn't give them enough sugar or thick enough sugar after the harvest. Maybe that's what happened, and they weren't able to cope with the dearth. I mean, thus far this year, I have put out, since harvest, I have put out 1,000 pounds of sugar. I've put 1,000 pounds of sugar out. And that was between 79 colonies. Now, we had 60. We've lost 5 more. We have 55 colonies now. This is, we're shrinking. We're shrinking, but I think everybody's stable at this point. I think what we're going to do next week is we're going to start serious inspections of all the hives, make sure that the hive beetles are out of all the hives and that they've got everything they need to grow. And if that means I have to give them a little bit of pollen substitute, not a pollen patty, pollen substitute sprinkled on their frames to give them a kickstart, then I'll do that as well. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed me griping about the doctor's office and about the Shoemate Heating and Air. They lost me as a customer forever, I'll tell you that. I'm not too keen on them. If you're in Georgia, then, you know, just understand that unless you're paying for a service contract, they're not going to come out and help you on the weekend, not even for more money. And I've got bees putting banana right in my face. They're not keen with me being here, so I'm going to have to get going. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, by all means, please comment. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, take a moment, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified of my new content. I do try to drop a video every Friday. We try to keep it light and have fun. And I've got bees all over me. I mean, they're putting the banana all over me. This is crazy. All right, I'm going to let you go so that I can get out of here. Have a great week, and I will see you next week, and we will have some more exciting videos next week. This was feeding bees because you see the shape my bees are in. This is again bad summer, but we're gonna make it through. It's all gonna work out. Have a great week.